So I would suggest that perhaps we have an additional line.
Certainly.
And ask them to similarly adopt. And
we can do that. Councillor Parrish, please.
Yes, I think particularly when we have the little students here today, I think you have to understand that this is really, really serious because we don't have a lot of whales left in the world, and 2 were just found dead, and they'd swallowed 50 plastic bags. So they're hungry and they're eating what they normally eat, and the plastic bags go into their tummies, and they end up dying because you can't digest plastic. So what we're doing today is really important for whales, and it's really important for all wildlife. So I'm happy that you're here today, and when you go back to school, you can tell everybody what we did. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Councillor Parrish. Councillor Rass.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congrats to the students who take, they're our future leaders, especially when it comes to waste, so keep up the good work, guys and gals. I just want to add that perhaps we can also send it to Ontario Stewardship. They're going to be a key player in this. I sit on the waste diversion, or the waste committee as well at the region, and they've been undergoing some changes in recent years, trying to grapple with producer responsibility. So I think they should be aware of this motion as well. Thank you.
Terrific. Okay, if I may speak as well. Move the chair. Thank you. So RJ, I received your tweet, or the tweet of your teacher, so we knew you were coming. We were very excited to receive your letter. I'm going to read it for everyone. It was sent to me on June 4th. Dear Mayor Crombie. Hello, Mayor Crombie. My name is RJ. I'm 10 years old and I'm in grade 4 at St. Timothy's School. I'd like to report I have a concern regarding the litter in and around the water systems in Peel region. Whenever I see any water systems in our Peel region, such as lakes and creeks, I see some litter like plastic bags, water bottles, and other garbage in the water. In the creek near my school, I see a lot of litter and garbage there, mainly plastics. I feel the fish are being harmed from the chemicals in the littered water, and the litter ruins the food chain. On the shore, I also see birds pecking away at the plastic there. Can we stop this in any way? Well, I think we can. Here's my idea. I will do an initial cleanup, which he did, by the way, of the creek near my school with a small group of classmates who are here. Next, we will put up signs by the creek that will read, "No litter zone." I'd like to speak further about my idea with you, so please contact me when you have a moment. Until then, please look at my photos, which he has provided me with. I'll pass these around. We can pass them back. And I have included to see the garbage I am concerned about, to see the exact location at the creek. So best regards, RJ. RJ, stand up and take a bow, please. There you go. Thank you. And I just want to say a few more things if I can. I really want to thank Councillor Mahoney for introducing this motion on my behalf. I want to thank him for taking it to EAC, which is the Environmental Action Committee, and for securing their endorsement. So RJ, your idea of plastics has gone far and wide at our city. Right now we're being live stream broadcast, so everybody's listening to the motion. Councillor Mahoney brought it to the Environmental Committee, so we're all feting you today, sir. This council has been a leader on plastics in the past. Our late councillor Jim Tovey in 2015 introduced a motion on microbeads that led to changes at the federal level in 2017, limiting the use of plastic microbeads of less than or equal to 5 millimeters in diameter. And that also came from a presentation from our, I believe, our Camilla Roads school students that came forward. These beads are winding up in our Great Lakes and in our fish. I was at the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative Conference last week. I've actually been made chair of the Council of Mayors on Biodiversity, so we can also forward it to that group. And we spoke extensively about protecting our Great Lakes. Every year, more than 22 million tons of plastic find their way into the Great Lakes, which is our most precious resource, supplying water to over 50 million people. So we get our water from Lake Ontario. We fish in the lake, and in fact, many of us stocked the new salmon into the lake just a few months ago. We also swim in Lake Ontario. The plastics in the Great Lake eventually find their way downstream and into the ocean. And according to the World Economic Forum, the world produces 20 times more plastic than we did in 1964, and over the next 20 years, this volume is expected to double in size, and by 2050, based on current trends, there will be more plastic in our oceans than there will be fish. if you can believe it. And we'll have to do something about this. This is reaching a crisis level. In Canada, along with the G7, we are leading the way in developing a plastics charter to address the issue of non-sustainable plastic. The industry is ahead of government on this. In fact, the Canadian Plastics Association, the leading industry association, supports the Plastic Charter. They have an ambitious goal of 100% of plastics being recyclable or recoverable by 2030, and 100% of plastics packaging being reused, recycled, or recovered by 2040. And they joined the Chemistry Industry Association of Canada and 11 other major industry organizations working towards reducing the use of non-recyclable plastics and improving recyclables, reused, or recovered. And the industry is driving this. They're ahead of government, and that's a good thing. At the city, we can take meaningful action in our own way, like we did today with this motion that calls for small changes to reduce our plastics consumption, and we can become a champion because of you, RJ, because you brought this issue to our attention. And there's a move within the industry to reduce the amount of plastic packaging that is used. We see many restaurants already banning the use of plastic straws on their accord. I know in my own house, my children are only using metal straws, and I think that's very, very good. I think many of the millennials are. There's a movement underway for consumers and industry, and the government is catching up slowly. So I want to be clear that this motion doesn't call for a ban, not at all, but for a concerted effort by our corporation and other corporations to reduce our reliance on single-use plastics. Last year, we embarked on a sustainable procurement program that's designed to take into account the total cost, not just the price, but the cost to the environment, ethical and social cost, as well as the purchase cost of a product. And that is in keeping with our policy and our commitment as a corporation towards greater sustainability. It also calls on our support to support National Plastics Charter from Charlevoix, that will reduce the use of non-sustainable plastic. While this is an issue of national and international importance, it manifests itself right here in Mississauga because of RJ and his classmates from St. Timothy's who are here with us today, asking us just to keep plastics out of the creek near their school. You may have seen RJ on the news. He was featured on CTV on Monday night. I saw the clip. RJ is a grade 4 student, and he has taken on the superhero. He's become a superhero to take this kind of action and get involved and tackle the issue of plastics in the creek. So let's give a big round of applause to RJ and his classmates for their efforts. They organized the creek cleanup, and they brought this to my attention, hence we have the motion, and I'm very pleased that this motion will help RJ achieve his goal of collective goal of cleaning up our local environment. Thank you to everyone for your support, and thank you to St. Timothy's and your classmates for coming forward today. Councillor Unica, sorry I just kept going. I saw your name pop up.
Magnificent.
Magnificent, and if you'd like to speak, please recognize
Just
you now.
briefly to say, well, I saw the clip, the evening live on Monday night, and I could swear that was the undercarriage of the bridge in my ward along the Queensway, but they were never clear on the school and the location. And even, I said, I think that's my neck of the woods. And I'm incredibly proud of you, starting from the fact that I went to St. Timothy's too.
Wow. Look at that.
So look at how much better St. Timothy's has done in all these years. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank your companion schools, because the Corsair and the Camilla kids come out and clean that creek all the time as well. But what I think is so significant, RJ, just one person with one concept and one idea can make a difference. I'm going to tell you how important what you're doing is. I also have the privilege of sitting on the Conservation Authority. We are getting species of fish that have not been in the Credit River and its tributaries for 30, 40 years that are coming back like crayfish. So we're doing a pretty good job, but we need to keep it clean so that that will continue. And of course, pretty soon you'll be going up that stream towards the Central Park that we want to build for all of that community, and hopefully a big lake as well. So we have to keep it clean. And last story I'll tell you, you'll be surprised, when I was of an age to go to St. Timothy's, there was a bend in the road before King Street was built. Dave Cook will remember it. It was a watering hole. We used to swim in the Cooksville Creek because there was a little pocket that was deep enough to swim. And maybe those days will come back when we put a little lake there or something. So I just could not be prouder of you. I'm so glad the mayor's put such significance on it as you have on the entire environmental file. And hopefully when you're done, you can make your way up to my offices, because I'd like some souvenirs for the kids, and you especially, RJ, for all that you have done. We're very proud of you in Ward 7 and in the city at large. Congratulations.
Here, 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 here. So if we may move the motion forward, read that now. So this is for you, RJ, and your classmates. Moved by Councillor Mahoney, second by Councillor Carlson. Whereas Canada has the opportunity to become a waste reduction leader and has led to the development of new global treaty to combat plastics pollution, the Global Plastics Charter that will be discussed by the G7 Environment Minister at their next meeting. Whereas the G7 countries have agreed to a global plastics charter that commits Canada to developing more resource-efficient and sustainable approaches to the management of plastics that involves industry, academia, government, and citizens. And whereas the City of Mississauga has illustrated long-standing and continuing efforts to creating a sustainable city as laid out in the strategic plan, Mississauga is